So yeah. So do you know what does this console.time and console.timeend do? How many of you are have gone through this? I told you to go through this.
No,
you don't know, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then see what does it do is that whenever you call this time function on the console object with some label, which is Arvind, there will be a timer gets created. Timer gets created on this label. Okay. Don't ask me how does it create. Okay. The timer will get created on this label. Which label? Arvind label. Because I passed the Arvind string within this function, right? And similarly, whenever on this label only, the time gets end. That means whenever I call this time end function with the same label, at this point of time, what will happen is that it will print the, it will end the timer. Ends the timer and prints that. Two things happens here. Got it? Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
That means let us say if it is starting at t is equal to 0 milliseconds. Okay. And to execute all this, it took, let us say, 10 milliseconds. Okay. And when will be executed? After 10 milliseconds, immediately it will be executed, right? So the timer gets ended. The timer has started at t equal to 0. And to execute all this, the timer continuously, increases its time to how much time that this for loop and this, this instruction lasts for. So it will take some time, right, to execute all this. So that will be, let us say, 10 milliseconds. That means whenever I'm ending the time, closing the time by using the timing function, what will happen? Here, the 10 milliseconds will be printed. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand this or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me save this, and you see it is printing Arvind, which is label, and colon this one. So how many milliseconds it took to run this entire code in between these two? How many milliseconds it took?
So 6.333
milliseconds. 6.334 roughly. So that much time it took to run this particular for loop. And by the way, how many times it looped for? 10 power 4 into 10 power 6 times. Okay, that means very huge, right? Yes. So 10 power 6 times means very huge. Let me make it to 10 only. And you see the time will be really less. Let me save. And you see to execute all these instructions, the ones which are in between, it took only 0.007 milliseconds, means almost 7 microseconds like that. 0.7 microseconds, yes. Right? Did you understand?
Yes, sir, understood.
Did you understand this?
Understood.
Yeah. So this is how in JavaScript only we have this advantage. So this is how we can check how much a particular algorithm or a code takes time. Okay. So simple, Sai, simple thing. Whenever you make this function call on this particular label, timer gets started. Okay, timer gets started, I would say, instead of created, started on this label, which is happened. That means t will be 0 at this point. And whenever I end on this label by using time and function on the same label, that means timer ends, and that time gap between executing this instruction and this instruction will be printed over here. Okay. Did you understand?
Sir, what will happen if we will not give console.timeend in the end?
See, it won't do anything, because this is the one which is responsible to close the timer, and this is the one which is responsible to print the time gap also.
Okay.
Okay. If we don't give, then the function will just be erased. Okay. And we won't get anything.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now, for example, I would like to write another for loop here. Let I is equal to 0. And since you see I is being declared with a let keyword, that means within this for loop only this I has some values. Okay. And out of this for loop, I is no one. Okay. And similarly for this for loop also, I'm making a creation by using let keyword. That means for this particular for loop only, I want this I variable to be last. Okay. I don't want outside of it. Okay. And I less than, let us say, 10,000 milliseconds. Okay. And then I plus plus. And again, I'm going to make some instruction like this, any instruction. I'm not interested about writing this. So again, I'm writing this sum plus plus. Okay. Now, what I'll do is that if I wanted to know how much time does it took to run the second for loop only. So what can I do? Before starting second for loop, I'll have to start the timer. So to start this timer, what I have to do? I have to use the time function on the console object. Okay. And for this time function, do I need to give Arvind label or some other label? Because Arvind label is already been created. Okay. So we cannot give that label. So we can give something other label. So let me give Naveen as this label. Okay. And then the timer will start on the label Naveen. Okay. And after completion of this for loop, I'll give another one, which is console.timeEnd. Time end it is. And then in this again, I have to give the Naveen label so that the timer of the Naveen, the timer of the Naveen label will be completed over here. That means whatever the time gap is there between these two instructions before between execution of time of Naveen and time end of Naveen, that time gap will be printed here. Okay, now let me save this. And you see for Naveen at line number 12, you see it is printing in line number 12 since it is where we ended that Naveen label. And it took how much time it took?
0.225.
Yeah, so this for loop took a time of 0.225 milliseconds. And this for loop and this instruction and this instruction and this instruction all together took how much time? 0.38. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So all these things took 0.3891 milliseconds, and only this particular for loop took how much time? 0.225 milliseconds. MS, you see the unit MS, which stands for millisecond. Okay, now let me try to write a large loop. So let I runs from 0 and I less than, let us say 10 power. So if you want to write 10 power something in shortcut, you can use this E. So 10 power 10, let us say 10E 10 means 10 power 10 it is. So I plus plus, and then I'm going to make a sum plus plus. Okay. And before that, I need to create a variable, and I would like to initialize with a very negative value, small negative value, something like this. Okay. Now let me save this, and you see it is executing because this for loop is taking too much time. So many times it is right, and even it got into blank, and it will take about 1 or 2 minutes, I guess. I don't know. I cannot know, right? Let's see how much time will it take. It's actually taking a lot of time. I could have given 10 power 9. That means how many times this instruction has been run? 10 power 10 times. Just imagine 10 power 10 instructions executed by our CPU. How complex it is. I could have given 10 power 6, 10 power 8. Close this. I cannot close this. I'll save this file and I'll try to execute in another tab. See, no events are performed here also. It's taking a lot of time. I'll have to close this. Yeah, and reopen this. Yeah, now I made it to 10 power 8. Okay, you are understanding, right, what I'm doing?
Yes, sir, understood.
Okay. Even it is taking a lot of time. I need it to be 10 power 4 first. Okay. Yeah, for 10 power 4, you see how much time it took? It took not even 1 second. You see how much time it took? 5.24 milliseconds. Let me try to increase the power of 10 linearly instead of directly jumping into 10 power 10. You see how much time it took now? 5.24. At what value? At 10 power 4. Now I'll make it to 10 power 6. And you see how much time it is taking now? 162. So let me write all of them here. So for 10 power 4 instruction, for executing 10 power 4 instructions, how much time it took? 5 milliseconds. I'm writing roughly, okay? For executing 10 power 6 instructions, how much time it was taking? 162 milliseconds. Of course, number of instructions are increased. That means 100 times this one, right? 10 power 6 means 100 times 10 power 4. So definitely the time needs to be increased. Okay. And then let me make it to 10 power 7 and save this. And you see, it will take some time. And how much time it took? 1677. 1677 milliseconds. That means how many seconds we can say? 1.6 seconds. Right? 1.6 seconds. 1.6 seconds means almost 1.5 seconds. Okay. And let me increase it further to 8, and I will stop with 8 because after 8 it is going to take minutes or hours of time, because each value 10 power, I am increasing 10 power of something, that means it is going to be multiplied with another 10. So 10 times the time will become. Okay. Now for 10 power 8, what is the output? Let me save this, and you see it will take some time now. I think it will take 10 or 20 seconds. I'm expecting. Let us wait and see how much time will it take. Yeah. So it took about 14 milliseconds, 15 milliseconds, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here I have to write 10 power 7. For 10 power 7, it took this much time. For 10 power 8, it took 14.977, 14,977 milliseconds. That means almost how many seconds it is? 15 seconds. Okay. So as I increase the execution of number of instructions, what is happening? The time to execute all those instructions will be increased, right? So this is how we can use this time, console.time and console.timeend, to efficiently check whether a particular algorithm is good or bad or how complex it is. Okay. Now I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. Okay. You understood, right? This?
Sir, understood.
Yeah. Now let us move on to, I'll remove this. Now let us move on to callbacks. Okay. So firstly, coming to callbacks is very simple. I'm not going to make it complex. So callbacks is the one passing functions as an arguments for a particular function. So let us say I'll name a function called test1. Okay. And it is going to take two variables, let us say A and B, right? And what can be these two variables, by the way? What can be these two variables? I'm asking you, what can be these two variables? I can give anything, right? I can give some string, okay, on the first one, and I can give some number on the second one. So even you can give some object also. Let me save, and you say I'm executing this particular function test1 by passing these two parameters. So the first parameter is captured into this variable A, and the second parameter is captured into variable B, and they both are printed here. Okay, you see at line number 5, they both are printed because I am executing the function. Now, can I give an object like this? So what is this? An object, right? Yes. So name Arvind, something like this, and surname, okay, something like this. Let me save, and you see the second one is being captured into which one? This is the second parameter or second argument that is being captured into B variable. And Arvind is the string which is captured into this A variable. And they both are printed when I call this function.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can I pass an array?
Yes, sir.
Of course, yes. I can also pass an array. You see, the first variable is captured into A, and the second variable, which is an array, is captured by B, and both are printed. Got it? And I told you functions are also variable in JavaScript, right? So can I pass a value of a function like this?
Surely, sir.
Yes, of course. Console.log Arvind. Okay. And what is this? What is this? This one. This one is a value, which is a function value. like string value, number value, object value, array value. This is the value for a function variable, right? Because function is also a variable. So now A will be captured with the string and B will be captured with this function. So when I'm trying to log both of them, which one will be printed? A and B both will be printed. So Arvind will be printed in the first case, and in the second case, this entire function will be printed. Let me save and you see. So Arvind got printed here, and then who got printed? Function got printed. And what is there inside this function? There is a simple console log statement is there. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. Now, can I make a call for this here? Since what is the value of B? What will be the value of
each function, sir?
Function. So to call the function inside this function, since I'm passing these two as arguments for this particular test1 function, so they both are going to capture both of them. So Arvind is going to capture string, and I can apply all the string methods on this A variable, right? Like A dot length also I can print because that is a string, right?
Yes, sir, possible.
And similarly, the second value is being captured by the variable B. That means the second value is a function. So to execute the function, what we need?
We have to
need a
parenthesis.
Yes, we have to give parenthesis because as this particular function is not accepting any parameters. Okay. Now, could you tell me what will happen in the output? I want the output and the line number. I want you guys to tell now.
Sir, in line number 10, there will be another Arvind printed, sir. Then you call B, sir, B function.
No, sequentially. You tell sequentially.
Sir, in line number 5, there okay. Is Arvind bulk length means, sir, 2, 4,
7 will be printed.
7. Yes. And B will be simultaneously, that is a function console.log will come. Line number 5.
5, like this.
Yes, sir.
And then
after that, you have called the function B, sir. Then, sir, Arvind will be printed, sir.
Yes, Arvind will be printed in which line?
Yes, sir.
In line number 6.
6.
Line number 6, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure Arvind will
be
printed
in line number 6? In line number 6, you are calling that function, sir. But, sir, that will be printed in line number 10 only.
Yes, exactly. So let me save this. And you see, actually 7 is the length of the string, which is I'm passing as Arvind, and that is captured by the variable A, and the second value, which is a function captured by the variable B. And A dot length is how much? 7, and B value is itself a function. And I'm executing B at line number 6. That means on the top of this thing in the stack, what will happen? This function will take some space on the stack and it will be executed. So there is only a single instruction which is making a console log of Arvind. And you see it has been printed from line number 10. You got this?
Yes, sir, got it.
So this is what call back. So whatever the function that I'm passing, I'm calling back that. So I'm calling that function in another function. So this is what I call back. Now B can be called as B is a
callback.
And based on this callback, JavaScript will become unique with respect to other programming languages because most of the programming language does not support this kind of callbacks. And this is the kind of, one of the great features in JavaScript. Everyone understood? How many are there? Only 5 or 4, right?
Yes, sir, understood. Sir, me understood.
Naveen understood. Siva, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Prasanna, what about you? Prasanna. Hello? Prasanna, you are not audible, but you are unmuted. Just type in the chat box if you understood, or if you have some doubts, just type in the chat box. Okay, then. You understood, right?
Sir, if we will define that test1 function just below, sir, line number 11, it will be fine, sir. There will be.
If you define like this, right? You're asking like this?
No, sir, that function, line number 4 to 7. If I will cut from there and paste in line number 12.
You have to tell me whether it will work or not. See, what is this, by the way? What is this entire instruction is telling?
It will work, sir. Actually, it is a it is
See, you tell me firstly. Of course, it will work, and I'll try to explain you why. Okay, what is this? This is a single instruction, right? These 3 lines together.
You are calling that function test1.
Yes, we are making a call of test1. Yes, and by passing 2 values, one is Arvind and the other one is a function value. Yes, okay, so yes, this is what it is, a function call.
Yes, sir.
So initially, when in the stack memory, what will happen? Firstly, global execution context gets created, right? Yes. And sir, how many will be hoisted? The test1 only will be hoisted. Only. Yes, sir. Fully hoisted. And now execution phase, what will happen? We execute this function. That means already there is a function which is test1. So that will be executed. So test1 context will be created. And then in the test1, what happens immediately? There will be a variable a created, which is assigned to Arvind, because they are parameters, right? For this test1, these 2 are the parameters. That means I told you these are as if they declared inside this function only. So A will be created with the value of Arvind because I am passing a value, and B will be created with the value of what?
Function.
Whatever I passed from here.
Yes, sir.
And then I am trying to execute this B. And is there a B within this? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that will be executed. So B context will be created here. And then in the B context, what is there? Only a single statement of console log. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
And then after this will be erased, this will be erased, and you know all the scenarios. So this is what a single callback is, nothing more. And you won't understand the the difference of the pure understanding, the pure what we say, the concept of callbacks as of now. You don't understand the usage of callbacks as of now, but when we jump into DOM, you will get to know how callbacks will be utilized. Okay. Now, with respect to along with callbacks, I would like to discuss one more thing, which is called as a set timeout function, which is by default present inside the browsers. Okay, inside browsers only. You see, set timeout is a function, and it is a function we can call that directly. And what is this? I'm calling a function called set timeout. And did I ever declare this set timeout function?
No, sir, you have not. We have not declared.
No, but what I'm telling, in the browser, it is directly accessible. Okay, even though if you are not declaring, there is a predefined functionalities in the browsers only. Okay, now this set timeout is a function which we can access directly, as I am telling, because it has been already declared in the browsers. Okay, so the JavaScript file can easily access this. So it will take 2 parameters. One is 1 and the other one is 2. Okay, 2 parameters. And what are these 1 and 2 now? Are they variables or are they something, or what? What are these 2?
These are 2 are variables still, no?
Yes, these 2 are variables, and no. These 2 are arguments, and of course these 2 are variables, right? 1 is a variable and 2 is also a variable. And now I want to create that variable. So let 1 is equal to 1 needs to be always a function. Okay, so I can assign a function like this. 1 second, I'm getting. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll call you at around 12 o'clock or around 1 o'clock. Okay, after lunch I'll call you. Okay. Hello.
Audible.
Yeah. So you see, there are 2 variables that this set timeout function takes. And the first variable will be a function. Okay. So you have to create a function like this: console log hello world. Okay. And the second variable needs to be a number. I'll tell you what does this number do and what does this function do. So second variable will going to be taking a number. Okay. So let me give the number to be something like 3000. Actually, it is the time in milliseconds. Okay. So that means what does this set timeout function does is, whatever the second parameter is there, which is 2, and that means since I'm passing this in place of 2, I'm passing which value? 3000. That means this function 1 is going to be executed after a time of how much? 3000 milliseconds. That means 3 milliseconds. So this is what the things done by the set timeout function. So let me save this file, and you see, let us wait for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and see, we got this hello world. That means this function got executed after how much time? 3000 milliseconds. Yeah, instead of writing all this directly, I can place the values only instead of keeping them in another variables. So the first argument needs to be a function, right? Right. This is first argument. And I'll make a console log of. Right. So this is the first argument. Okay, this is the value, function value it is. And what needs to be the second value? I'm putting a comma, and the second value need to be the time after which we wanted to execute this. Yeah, time in milliseconds. So let me give 4000 now. That means 4000 milliseconds, and let me save this. And you say after 4 seconds, this function will get executed, this function. Okay. Yes. And now, is this a callback for this particular set timeout function?
Yes, sir. This is a callback, sir.
Yeah, because whenever you are passing functions as arguments to another function, so that we call as a callback. Now, in this case, the selected function, which I am passing as an argument for the set timeout function. So this selected function can be called as what? A callback function. Did you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, right. So where we are trying to access this from this set timeout function, so it is there by default in the browser, so we can start accessing them directly. We don't need to create, since we haven't created that function, right? So it is accessible. You see, it got turned into a different color. That means it is predefined function. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes, Pakka. So what I'll do is that now. Need to be discussed here. Yeah. Now, can you tell me? I'll just make a small statement over here. Console log hello 1. Okay, something like this. And here I make something like console.log. So this is the most important. Hello 2. Okay. Now, can you tell me which one will be printed one after the other?
Sir, hello 1 will be printed first, and after that, set timeout function will be called, and that function will be callback function will be executed after 4 seconds, and then, sir, line number 8, hello 2 will be printed.
Yes. So that's nice. You expected it very good. You see, firstly, what happens? This instruction gets executed. So in the console, what will happen? What will happen? Hello 1 will be printed, right? And after this, since this entire instruction, which is a 3-line instruction, actually it is a single line instruction, I'm passing 2 arguments for it. And what is this? Is this a function call or not?
This is a function call.
Yes, it is a function call, and for which I'm passing 2 arguments. So after 4000 milliseconds, this function will be executed. So after 4000, after 4 seconds, 4000 milliseconds means 4 seconds. What will be printed? Hello Arvind will be printed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then immediately after printing this, what will happen? The control goes to line number 8, and line number 8, which is hello Arvind, will be printed.
Sir, meeting will
hello
soon, sir.
Yeah. Hello 2 will be printed. You create another mate, you stop here. Okay. And let us come back again.